Hey, welcome back everyone. Today I'm going to give an update on where we're at in our backyard project and a little detailed overview of how I'm going to approach the next part of our backyard project, which is installing the fire pit with some LED lighting. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to go about routing the wires through those blocks. So let's get to it. So since my last time I was putting in the pavers, and as you can see here, I have gotten this patio done. A lot of pavers. Took, I think, screeding sand and laying pavers, I think it was pretty close to 26 hours, including cuts. I had a ton of cuts. This was not a pattern that lent itself to having few cuts. I did 4 different size stones. These are Willow Creek stones I forgot the color. It slipped my mind. I'll come back to that. But yeah, so this is Willow Creek stones, and it's 9x12s and 6x9s and 3x6s and 6x6s. So all of those three make up this pattern. And then for the edging, I did 3/4 stones. So this is the color stone, 3/4 stones, which is 4x6, and then the same size stone, but just in solid charcoal, and there then turned the other way. So that's how I did my border on this particular patio. So that's that. So it's turned out pretty good. But today we are going to look at installing this fire ring and getting this done so I can move up to the next project, the patio and the wall over there. So I have a little bit of a start here and set up and show you what I'm going to end up doing. So I have this fire ring I need to put in, and these wall blocks, and these wall blocks are solid, and so you can't really easily run wire through those. And so my approach is going to be to cut channels through some of the blocks I need. So I'm going to have to snake, this wire up through these blocks up to the top, and then cut a channel around the top to be able to slide the wire into. So shouldn't take too long. Should be a fairly quick project. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and kind of show you along the way as I go how I went about it. All right, so I have the first block here in the works, and so I've marked my area I want to cut out across the bottom to run the wire, and then up the side where we need to run the wire as well. So I marked those lines, cut a line, a groove with the angle grinder here, and then I cut a groove in the middle as well. And so once you have that, then it's a simple task of just using your chisel and just come in and put the chisel in those grooves, and with your mallet, see if I can get one here, you're just going to push it, chip away, and those pieces should come right out, and then that'll give you the cavity you need to run the wire. So I'm going to go ahead and just get this block ready and then take it over and then get it ready for it to be installed. All right, so I got the second row on, and so I'll show you what I'm doing here now for the third row. So this is the top course of block, and so I got this start block ready that's going to go over this cord here. So I got the bottom, this block is going to straddle these two blocks, and so this cord's going to go this way. So I just etched out with the grinder a slot here for the cord to lay on the bottom. Then it's going to come up the side, and then when the block's laid down, then I have a groove on the top for the cords to lay around the top. And the whole top of the fire pit will be topped with a capstone. So the tops of these blocks will actually be covered. So the lights and the wires and everything else that I'm going to have in here, it will all be covered when I'm done. So I don't have to worry about hiding them from visibility from the top. So that's what my plan is. And so it should be as simple as taking this block, sliding it back, and then sliding it on over into position just like that. And then that wire will come up the side and then across, and then hook up to my lights across the top here. So that's the plan. I'm gonna go ahead and get this course done. You can see here I'm using some landscape adhesive, so all the blocks are glued together just to help them stay in place. So all right, I'm gonna get this course done. I'll be back when that's finished. All right, so I've now got the entire third row on, which is the last row for the fire pit. And if you use one of these rings, it's really handy because you can use that as basically your pattern for your circle. So I don't know if you can see it in here, but I marked the center of where I wanted my fire pit here, and I was able to measure out on all four directions out to that edge of the ring and making sure that was centered. Once that fire ring was where I wanted it, then it was just a matter of putting the stones around it, as these stones actually make like the perfect radius for that fire ring. So pretty quick assembly, I think, including gluing and everything, cutting those blocks I needed to cut, maybe an hour and a half, I don't know, not very long, quick. So the last part I'll be doing, which will probably take me a little bit longer, is getting these LED lights in. And so these are some LED edge lights, and so they're typically used like under a lip, under an overhang. So you'll see them under stairs, under the cap of a wall or a fire pit like this. And so it's pretty simple. It's just a couple LEDs on the bottom. It's about 3/4 inch thickness, so you just want to make sure your overhang is at least 3/4 thick so it covers this light. But it just sits on there like that, and kind of just overhangs the block like that, and casts a really nice downlight. And so the plan, so I have 4 of those lights, one in about every 90 degrees around the circle. I'll put one. The light comes with some anchors and nuts. I have different nuts I'm going to use. I'm going to use some weather tight nuts that have silicone in them, and then these cement anchors. So I'm going to mark my 2 holes here with a marker and drill those out with a mason drill, masonry bit, and then put the anchors in and then screw this down. And so to get this to sit flush, I'm also going to have to grind out little grooves in all the 4 locations I want this, so that wire can sit down in there flush. And then I have 2 wires coming in. Basically one will supply power coming in, the other one is going to then be hooked up to supply power going back out over there for some walkway lights or some up lights on the pool or something like that. So so these 2 will basically go this way. Probably grind this block out pretty good, bring these in, put all my connections here, or maybe even in this block. I'm going to grind a channel all the way over to here for this light. So this light wire will run through here, connect here with this one, those together, then grind a small channel through here, connect this one will get picked up over to here, and all 6 terminations then will happen right here and be nutted. I'll probably solder everything and then put the watertight nuts on there, so everything should be nutted right there, secured. And once I have that, then hopefully I can hook up the transformer and give it a test, see if it works. Check back later. Hey everyone, welcome back. We got the finished fire pit here, and it's about 5 months past the prior clips in this video, and so I wanted to take some time to see how everything worked, make sure everything held up, and so far so good. So I wanted to take some time to show you how I went about hooking up these lights in this fire pit. And I took half the capstone off, I don't have it glued down yet. So to cap it off, just to show you how I did these connections and how everything's wired. And so I used 4-inch LED landscape downlights for these blocks. And these are really nice because they hang over just enough on the blocks to cast a nice downlight, but they're short enough to when you put your capstone on, they're hidden, unless you're down looking up under it. But for all intents and purposes, they're hidden, and so they look really nice, cast a nice downlight. So I highly recommend these lights. I've had them running now every night, like I said, for the last 5 months, and there's been no issues with any of them. I believe the brand is Leon Light, I believe. Anyway, I'll look it up and put in the description. So these are off Amazon. Pretty good buy. And so to install them, all you need to do is get a drill with your concrete bit, and you're just going to drill 2 little holes into your block. You're going to pound in the plastic anchors, and then you're going to put these 2 screws in, and that's enough to firmly hold that light onto the block. Each light comes with, I don't know, 10 feet or so. Quite a bit of wire, more than I needed. And so with that, then I was able to install each light all the way around every 90 degrees of the circle, and then with that I was able to home run all the connections back to this central point. So all the connections for this fire pit, all the lights, are right here in this one spot. And so how I ended up approaching this is, here's the main wire coming in and going out of the fire pit. So this is supplying wire, and this is supplying this is supplying power, and this one's supplying power out to the rest of the landscape lights. And how I did that in the prior clip, if you remember, is I came up and then I was zigzagging across these blocks by cutting channels. And once I got the wire up here, I then bored out with an angle grinder these 2 blocks right here, and I ground those out quite deep to make enough room for all these connections, all this wire. And so then once I did all that, I home run all of the lights here, and to make sure that these capstones sit flush, you can see I did cut out a channel all the way around this fire pit, and that's just so each capstone would sit flush and that they wouldn't teeter-totter on those wires. And so once I got everything back here, cut everything to lengths and stripped the wires, and then I used these big waterproof nuts to connect everything. And to kind of help with it, I put in silicone into each nut, and so that should hopefully create a nice long-lasting watertight seal for that connection. And once you have them all connected, then it's just hooking up to your transformer, turning it on, and kind of stand back and enjoy your hard work. And so as a whole, this project was quite easy, pretty straightforward. The lights connections, the hardest part was just grinding out all the blocks, and it's a mess, so you're going to want to make sure you grind them out somewhere with well ventilation and away from things that you don't want to get dusty, because it does produce a lot of dust. But outside of that, it's worked well. Like I say, the lights have worked well. No issues with those. So I say, as a whole, this project has been extremely successful. Just starting to warm up here a little bit in the 40s, 50s. So I think, in no time we're probably going to be putting some rock in this fire pit and some logs and enjoying some fires out here. So hope the video was useful. Hopefully you learned something. If you have any questions or anything I didn't cover that you might be curious about, go ahead and go ahead and comment down below. And thanks for watching. Appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time.